Attorney Crump on the line. Attorney Crump, thank you so much for being here with us. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, Queen. Up here working too hard, but other than that, we gotta keep fighting for our children.
I know. I know. I appreciate you being here this morning. I know you're moving. And let me just say this. I'm sure your family has told you this. We so appreciate you doing the good work, but we need you to be strong and healthy to do the good work. So I do hope that you're at least trying to get some time to yourself, get some rest, eat right, drink your water, all that kind of stuff.
Thank you very much. I'm working out, and I got the spirit of your father. We got to stay on the wall and keep speaking truth to power.
That's right. And you're doing exactly that. So listen, I'm not going to take up too much of your time because I know you're still moving around. I just wanted to have you on because the listeners, they've been obviously hearing so much about this Nolan Wells case and they are wanting updates. And so I said, well, who better to provide us with updates than Attorney Crump? So I want to start with the autopsy. Obviously, you had the press conference. We learned the results, the inconclusive results of the independent autopsy that was done. Are we still waiting for the state of Mississippi to release the, I guess that would be considered the official autopsy?
We still are waiting for the state of Mississippi to release the first autopsy that they performed, and we don't know how long that is going to take. We believe they already have it, but, a lot of times it's, for whatever reasons, it's delay. And we just have to keep people focused and calling them out saying, we want transparency. We want a fair and impartial investigation. Because, Shauna Renee, what I sometimes believe, a lot of times they delay, and they hope people forget about it. They hope they can sweep it under the rug. But that's why we have to be vigilant.
Indeed. And we have been certainly here at Urban View and also a lot of other independent media organizations. But social media has done a fantastic job of keeping this story alive. And I'm just wondering, from the perspective as an attorney, when we talk about media coverage, all kinds of media, what kind of coverage is helpful and what are you finding maybe is not helpful, so that if any of us may be doing this or we see it, we can call it out, stop it, challenge it?
Yeah. Now, I think social media is extremely helpful. Obviously, it has its pros and cons, but I think in situations like this, even dating back to Trayvon Martin at the infancy of social media, it was always Black people, sisters and brothers, who pushed the narrative when mainstream media wasn't really pushing it, when mainstream media tried to help the other side, as they often do when it's a Black victim. I remember so vividly talking to your father, the great Joe Madison, the first time about Trayvon Martin. And it was a breath of fresh air to have Black people who had lived experiences, and they knew how the system was. They knew what American society was. And they said, we're going to give you the platform to be able to tell Trayvon's perspective. Well, thank God for social media, because I do believe, Shauna Renee, a lot of people in American society today want to just say, oh, no, the sheriff said it wasn't any foul play. These Black people just making a whole lot of noise. And that's what we got to fight against. So I think media is good. And even when you think about the governor attacking me and Reverend Al, yeah, quick, that make headlines in mainstream media. But when it's something that we're pushing and we're saying, look at this here, they won't put it on headlines or mainstream media as quickly. So that's why we need social media. That's why we need, platforms like yours to be able to say, no, what the governor is doing is just a distraction. All of them, they are trying to distract us from finding out what really happened to Nolan Wells.
And also, I think what's been very interesting is the way that they've kind of been lining up and pulling out friends of Nolan Wells. Some of the white young men saying, "Oh, we were friends, and I know these people; they would never do it." And then also, I'm noticing that there are a few Black friends of Nolan Wells. It seems in some ways like a coordinated effort to kind of control the narrative and that they're using these young people to do it. Am I sensing that correctly?
Yeah, I think you're right on spot, right on the point. They've all lawyered up. I'm sure they are being advised. And I think that, this is a close-knit community who were in this boating community. Nolan's parents probably wasn't into the boating community like the parents of, a lot of the individuals who were out there on Horn Island on July 4th. And so I do think they're talking and they're strategizing. But we have to make sure that we continue to dot every I, cross every T, look under every rock. That's why I'm appreciative of social media. Thank God for Reverend Al Sharpton and Tyler Perry and Tara Owens for putting up the reward. We're getting so many calls every day. And we got a team of lawyers, team of investigators, team of paralegals. We're working overtime trying to be able to talk to everybody who calls, try to get recorded statements, document them, get affidavits, retain experts, because we're taking on, this history that we're going against. It's not lost on anybody. This is where Emmett Till was slain. This is where Medgar Evers was slain. And, none of their killers were held accountable initially. Emmett Till's never. Not even the woman who lied.
Not even the woman who lied. Exactly. All right, let's talk about a couple other things specifically with this case. So there's a lot of talk about this dispatch call, this call in which the young people called, I guess, the CETO. And in the beginning, it sounded like they were making reference to maybe something happening to Nolan Wells. Do we know if this call is authentic? What does it mean for you? Does it change anything? Are you looking into it?
Well, I will be very careful to what I say because I'm the lawyer of record, so it's very important that we don't speculate. We're going to have sound audio engineers when we get the authentic original recording, be able to verify their expert medical opinion. But before that, I don't want to speculate, but I do think we're going to get to the truth. Somebody knew what happened to Nolan. We do not believe that Nolan, it was an accidental drowning, if that's the case, that somebody didn't see something. But even if it was something that was more, we know people know. And so what we're encouraging people and trying to keep telling people, keep calling the tip line. We're putting this puzzle together. We're going to solve this mystery, and we together are going to get justice for Nolan Wells.
Indeed. Okay, in the last 2 minutes that we have, Attorney Crump, I want to talk about this Corey Ruiz case out in Madison, Wisconsin. It was reported a few days ago that you are representing his family. So I gave just a really brief update of what, I told folks about what happened, but are there any updates in this case?
Certainly. And when we get a chance, Sean and Renee, I'm going to come back and we're going to spend more time on Corey because I think all these cases are important. And Corey Ruiz was executed. I mean, that was an execution, and that's why we still shocked. They try to claim they were cut, even though you look at the video and you don't see anybody acting like they were cut after they shoot them. And then, I mean, think about it. The Supreme Court has said every time you shoot somebody, every time you pull the trigger, every bullet, you have to show that it was reasonably necessary to use that force, especially deadly force. And this guy, even if you accept their assertion that we have not accepted yet, because we're breaking down this video, and it doesn't seem like to us that he cuts anybody. But when you look at the video, he gets up, he takes a step back, He takes his gun out the holster, then he shoots him point blank range 3 times in the head area. I mean, execution style. And the question for my experts and my legal team is, hold on, once you stepped back, then you were not in a life or death situation. I mean, the man was on the ground. You were on your feet. Why did you have to execute him like that? And for what? For speculation that he was trying to check and see if car doors were locked? I mean, the policy of Madison, Wisconsin Police Department is that you don't do high-speed chases for property crimes. And so that's talking about cars. We talking about a bicycle they was chasing him on for an alleged crime. He was executed based on speculation, and that's why they're marching in Madison, Wisconsin, and that's why they're saying no justice, no peace, because they dealt with this 15 years ago with a young man.
And that's interesting because before you came on, Attorney Crump, I said, isn't it really interesting the way the media is trying to tell this story? On one hand, they're trying to disparage Corey by making sure we all know that he was an ex-convict, as if that had anything to do with this case. And then also trying really hard to make Madison, Wisconsin seem like this racial utopia, you know, this liberal town that doesn't have any kinds of issues. Yet when you go back and you take a look, this has happened before.
Yep, 10 years ago, Tony Robinson, he was executed.
Okay. All right. So the people of Madison, Wisconsin are in the streets. They are wanting and demanding that these police officers be held accountable. Obviously, you are doing the good work, too. Is there anything that we can do? Is there anything that you need us to do? We need to make phone calls. We need to join them on the streets. What do we need to do?
Yes, we need to continue to call the Madison, Wisconsin mayor, this Democrat who had overwhelming black support, and say, hold on, just like you want the police to protect and serve other communities, we want them to protect and serve our community. Don't police us and, use excessive force on earth and protect everybody else. And then the other thing, the update we're doing, we're working on getting an independent autopsy on Corey Ruiz. But I didn't think we needed one at first, Shauna Renee, but now I think we do, because if they're going to try to hold with this he cut me thing, well, we need to show the trajectories of the bullet, that once he got up, he was no longer in fear of his life or anybody. If you believe some of my lawyers, they think it was more retaliation at that point. But we clearly want to show the bullets and the entry points of the bullet that he had superior position over him, and he did not. If he felt he had to shoot the first bullet, he certainly didn't have to shoot the second and the third bullet. And the last thing I'll say on this, watch that video. Everybody watch that video. You see how the woman puts her hand to her head like in shock. The other officer puts his hand on his face in shock. Like they can't believe this guy actually shot this man. I mean, It was like 4 officers. We said taser, taser. He's on the ground. He's being detained. Why do you feel you have to execute him?
And that is the question. Why? Well, listen, Attorney Crump, we will certainly have you back, because I do want to update on this story. I mean, obviously, we're very early here. Once you get the independent autopsy and we discover what that is and the findings of that, then we'll have you on for an update. But I'm going to let you go. Listen, thank you so much for the work that you do. I say that on behalf of all of us, not just the Black people, but America, because you're doing that work for us to make us a better country, a better place to live. But I also want you to take care of yourself. I mean that. That's Shauna telling you to please take care of yourself.
and I know your father's just smiling down on us. And so often I apologize. I'm in the airport. I used to talk to him at airports too. So forgive the background.
No, it's okay. It is okay. We are just grateful that you were able to take some time out to talk to us and connect with the Urban View morning audience. So, all right, we will talk again soon. Take care of yourself. Be careful out there. Thank you so much for being with us, Attorney Crump.
God bless you, Queen. Thank you, Sam Madison. Yeah, that's it.
God bless you too. All right, we'll be right back. You're listening to Urban View Mornings with Shauna Renee.